honorable... Hey guys, Panic at the Bookstore here. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite standalone novels. When I was thinking about doing this video, I realized just how many books I read that are part of a series. I don't read like a ton of standalone books, and I figured, let's show some appreciation for the books that don't have a series. So here I am talking about all of my favorite books that are standalones. Coming in at number 5 is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Honestly, picking a book to be number 5 was probably the hardest one that I picked. I had a lot of books that I was like, well, I want to include this one in my video, and I want to include this one in my video. A couple of my honorable mentions are Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen and Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I love both of those books and they came really close to making the list, but I just had to pick Ready Player One. If you don't know anything about this book, it's basically about a video game called The Utopia. The main character, Wade, has played this game for a very long time. He doesn't have a lot of people that he cares about in his life, but he loves being in this virtual world. Basically, you build your own life within the video game. The creator of the game dies, bad things start to happen. He doesn't have any heirs, so he leaves everything he owns to the person who can find the hidden Easter egg inside the game. This book was so much fun to read. If you like the 80s and you like video games, absolutely check this out. Coming in at number 4 for my favorite standalone books is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I loved this book so much, so much. I did a book club over this last year and I just fell in love with the story and the characters and everything about it was beautiful. It was so just breathtaking. The writing, the world of it, it was so good. I know a lot of people who don't particularly like Maggie Stiefvater's style of writing. However, I am not one of those people. I love everything that she writes. This is basically about an island where a bunch of mythical horses wash up on the shore every November. It's the job of the people on the island to tame the horses enough to ride them in the annual Scorpio Races. The main character becomes the first ever girl to ever ride in the Scorpio Races, and it's just so good. I love it. If you're into mythical things and feminism, well, That might not be a main part of this book I actually liked, but I just really love everything that happens, and I love the positive message that it gives off to people. It's so beautiful. Why are you so beautiful? Why are you so beautiful? Coming in at number 3, I have a book that I totally binge read. That is Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. This book is about a girl named Lena who's 15 years old and lives in Lithuania. It's basically about the hidden Holocaust that nobody really talks about that much. She and her family get hauled off from their house in the middle of the night and are sent to Siberia. She's separated from her father and there's so much stuff that happens. It just made me cry multiple times. I think I read it in less than 8 hours and so good. And for book number 2, A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness and inspired by Sayo Bondoud. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, I don't. You can see what it says. I've been telling people to read this book since I read it and I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good. This is the kind of good that had me ugly sobbing in my bedroom in the middle of the night while everyone else was asleep. The premise is supposed to be a horror story, I think. But it really didn't turn out to be a horror story. It just turned out to be a story about self-discovery and love and family. I cried so much reading this book. Plus, it has pictures. Look at how pretty this is. Look at this. Look at this. This book. It's so pretty and creepy and it's the perfect book. The very last and the best book that I personally felt like I had on this list is Lemonade Mouth by Mark Peter Hughes. It's so good. I actually recently discovered that there was a sequel to this book, but I didn't read it because I read this in junior high and I have such an attachment to it that I felt like if I read the second one, it would just let me down and I would be so sad. I'm classifying this as a standalone book and I'm just gonna go with it because I have loved it for so long, just the way it is. I read this book in junior high when I was one of the weird kids that this describes. It's about 5 characters named Wynn, Stella, Aaron, Olivia, and Mo. They basically form their own band. They all get detention one day and they start singing together and they form this great band that becomes basically the inspiration for all the weird kids that go to their school. Their band is the last thing from conventional. They have 5 people and I think they play a trumpet, a harmonica maybe, a cello, some like weird African drum set. They're so weird. The thing is, they're still great, and all the freaks, it's like a shout out to the freaks. I just love this book so much, and I have read it, I think, 4 times now. I've read it at least 4 times. Now you guys know my top 5 favorite standalone novels. I love every single one of those books, and this list was so hard to make, but I just had to go with those because I've loved them for so long and they're so great. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to make another one, like, comment, subscribe.